Today I am joined by a new friend, Elliot Mark. Elliot stems out of Long Island. We were just talking about this, how many people I'm being connected with on Long Island, on Strong Island, but now stems out of and lives in LA. He is a former collegiate athlete and now the founder and CEO of RecruitFluency, which is helping gear athletes for their next chapter at the collegiate level, specifically soccer players. Elliot, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure to connect with you.
So walk us through how RecruitFluency became what it is today.
Yeah, so we're still really new, startup company.
Mm-hmm.
You know, before I went in to creating this company, I stepped back and I spoke to all of my mentors, some of the people that you and I just spoke about, right? And I said, you know, I wanted to really understand like what was needed from their perspective, not just mine. And everyone, you know, spoke about education. There's no education. Parents have no idea what the hell is going on. Wow. And it creates an opportunity for agencies like NCSA, Be Recruited, some like these juggernauts in the business, right? To have sales pitches that are just monetizing fear, like straight up. You know, if you don't go with us, you know, your son or daughter's not going to have an opportunity. Oh, okay. How much does it cost? Oh, $3,000. Like, what? I went through the process for free, right? Like, I was extremely lucky. I had some of these resources, right? Gary Book, who was at St. John's when they won the national championship, was my club coach. But what did he do? He taught me. He educated me, my family, on the process. So I took a step back and I said, all right, how am I going to accomplish this? And so I said, why not create a video course that literally acts as a consultant and walks every student athlete and their parent through the recruitment process. And then if they have questions, you know, doing office hours online once a month, twice, whatever is needed, and help them in that capacity, right? So we have over 25 videos that break down how to select a group of target schools, how to communicate with colleges, how coaches evaluate the student athlete, how to thoroughly break down your schools that you're going on official visits and unofficial visits to. What does the application process look like? What are the grants? What are the loans? So we created a master course, and then I said to myself, all right, well, now we have the education. How do we figure out target schools? And we created a partnership with a company that has some resources, a platform, and now it's white labeled. It's under my company, and we literally have our student athletes put in their credentials or, you know, their GPA. Where do they want to be? Religion that's how far we go in depth, right? Of trying to figure out what is going to be the best fit academically, athletically, environmentally, and socially, because it's not just about the athletics. So once the student athlete does that, it auto-populates and it spits out schools, universities that are going to be the perfect fit for your son or your daughter. Then I remember, you know, having to communicate with these coaches. So I created email scripts, phone scripts, so that they have a place to start, right? And maybe it'll help alleviate some of that fear. Because if you're not calling, if you're not hustling, they're not looking at your player profile, man. They're not once did I, and everyone else I speak to, it's just like a waste of time, a waste of money. You know, get educated on it and then do it yourself, because that's the best approach.
And you know, I'm sitting here thinking like where were you like 15 years ago? You know, like there was no roadmap for this at all. You know, and like you said, you could pay an agency to do it, but it was, you know, you couldn't afford to do that. So I'm just thinking back on my career, and we didn't know, and we didn't even, highlight tape wasn't even like a big thing then. It was just kind of like people knew about you through word of mouth almost. And I'm making myself sound old. I went to college in 2010, So like not that long ago, it's like, but none of this existed, so that's so amazing to see that. And I'm thinking for myself now in the professional game where there's player profiles like Transfer Market and stuff like that, which I hate. I hate them because two reasons. Some people only go based on Transfer Market, and I can't stand those people because those are like, to me, just like the FIFA players. They look at stats, they look at how fast you can run and where you've been. Right. And that drives me crazy because there's so much more that goes into the game, as you know.
Of course.
The second thing is that, you create a profile, great. Someone sees your name, that's awesome, but they don't know you as a person. They don't get to speak with you and kind of get that rapport. So I'm feeling that it's very similar in regards to at the collegiate level too.
Yeah, it's one of these things, and that's what the agency takes away. First of all, if you're looking to go to a Division I program, that's not your avenue. Do not use an agency, and that's not because I'm a competitor of them. It's because I genuinely believe it's not in your best interest as a student athlete, right? And every D1 coach would tell you exactly that. The only reason why these agencies have stuck around is because they actually sell their information, the email addresses, to the coaching staff throughout the country for their summer camps, their ID camps, their clinics. And then they have, it's a business. The coaches got to eat too. And I don't fault coaches for doing that at all. Mm-hmm. But it's one of the things we speak about, and when I've done some of my live sessions, it's like, make sure you're going to the right ID camps. So how do you do that? You pick your target schools first, right? You make sure that you have a group of schools that you're going to attack, and then you go to those camps so that you're not wasting your time. How many people go to UConn, right? Especially back in the day, Ray Reed, he used to have 2,000 kids at his camp. Maybe one went from that every 5 years, right? So things like that are really important to the process. And it's taking away from what you said, the personal touch, right? And that's what coaches need to know. Like, if I'm investing in you, if I am going to put any money behind you, which is also rare, to be quite frank, I'm going to need to know you. I'm going to need to know you on a personal level. Yeah, do I care that you could, defend well? And yes, but I also want to know that you're not going to be a pain in the ass, right? That I'm not going to have to worry about you when I'm on a road trip, that, that you're going to sleep at 10 o'clock at night and you're not going out to the bar, right? But it's that kind of connection that is missing, and it seems that it's missing from, like you just said, the professional side of it as well. So maybe that's something we tackle together in the future.
No, trust me, I got a bone to pick with some freaking agents. I tell you, I can't. We don't have time for the stories. Like I'm done with 99% of them. There's a couple good ones that I still talk to, and God bless them because they've helped me a lot. But boy, it's like there's it's a world game. There's a lot of people, and that can really create a lot of subpar service, I guess you would say.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And that's how businesses are created, right? Like we see like perfect example with RecruitFluency. You saw a need of how to bridge that gap better, and that's what you're doing now. Now that you have kind of created this next chapter for yourself, Elliot, what is it that you're seeing in regards to feedback at RecruitFluency? How are athletes finding it, the process, and such?
For the people who have gone through, the student athletes, the families, it's been incredible for them, right? Because I'm able to impart so much education and knowledge at the convenience of them, right? So they're waiting online at the grocery store. We have an application. They open up their phone. Every chapter that I created was between 2 and 5 minutes, so that the ADD people out there like me, right, wouldn't have to, watch some mundane, History Channel creation. It was cinematic. It was engaging, and it was giving you all the information. And that's what parents have loved most. They can sit down at practice when all the other parents are chatting about BS and where my kid's going and how much money my kid got, and they're all lying to each other. They could go to the side and they could sit down and they could literally learn about the process and then apply it.
I'm a collegiate athlete. I'm a young high school athlete, and I come to you and I'm like, dude, I don't even know where to start. Right now, like, what could you say is the utmost importance in like getting going? Like, what's number one that someone needs to play at the collegiate level, or that you'll help them with?
Yeah. So for me specifically, and it's what I tell everyone. It's you need to get educated, right? And it's for the simple reason that if you don't want to spend thousands of dollars, if you want to go about it really the right way, which is the harder way, you need to educate yourself, right? And that doesn't start in 11th grade, guys. Like that I did an interview with Dean Koski at Lehigh, the head coach, and I asked him the same question, like, what are we talking about here? And parents should really start educating themselves in the 9th grade, when their kids are going into the 9th grade. Because then you have time to step back, not feel completely overwhelmed, not feel, not have that fear that you can't support your kid. Start in the 9th grade. In the summer going into the 10th, into the 11th, you need to have your target schools picked out, a general sense, so that you can get in front of those coaches. If you have 10, target schools that you're looking at, some are safety, some are reach, some are legit targets, that's going to take 2 summers for you to create relationships. You're not going to go to every single one that summer. Maybe some are going to be during the season. Maybe you're going to reach out to some of those coaches throughout your sophomore and junior year. But you're late to the game if you're starting even the summer going into your junior year. You're still behind because you don't know what to do. You're starting from the beginning. So what I tell every parent that calls me, no matter what, is get my masterclass. It's $150, right? Like, I wanted to democratize this industry so NCSA, all the bullshit, could understand that this is for real and we could give this information to anyone in the country. And I've even split it into 4 different payments, right? So pretty much anyone could afford that. You're going to have such an amazing understanding of the recruitment process. You're going to arm yourself so that even if you go and you decide you want to use one of these agencies or services, first I'd recommend coming to me because I could help you in a different capacity. But if you're going to, at least know enough to be dangerous and call them on their BS, right? And that was part of what I wanted to do as well, is like put these parents on notice, put these agencies on notice, right? That it's not going to be so easy for you anymore just to steal people's money. So education is number one, and do that as early as you can. As far as actionable steps, that's actionable, I guess, but how do you know your target schools when you're a little bit younger? It's like, if I'm a B student, I'm not becoming an A+ student. Like, be realistic. Like understand who your son is, who your daughter is. Be honest. If you don't even know what division and you think your son or daughter is the best player besides like Messi out there, like most of us do by default, right? It's not it's love, it's compassion. Get an assessment from someone that you're not paying and say, hey, can you evaluate my son? Go to a college coach. Can you evaluate my son in this, this 5-minute tape I put together? And what level should they be approaching? I can guarantee you most coaches would take the time to do that because it's not something they see every day. But let me be clear. If you're paying someone to assess or you're paying someone to do anything, there is 1000% like no point in thinking that you're going to get honest feedback because there's something attached to it. So that would be my recommendation. Like, for first step is understand what division they should play or should be targeting, and then what type of academics they should be targeting as well.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you for jumping on a Cooldown Conversation. So Elliot, when we want to get in touch with you, how do we do that?
Socials, everything at RecruitFluency, at RecruitFluency, at RecruitFluency.
Awesome.
And just real quick, it's becoming fluent in the recruitment process. That's what it's all about, and that's really where that name stemmed from. So
awesome,
that's
man.
it.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
Elliot, I can't thank you enough for jumping on, being an open book.
Man, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and thanks to the people out there who are listening.